Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck, the delicious mobile coffee truck that brings you the caffeination inspiration you need. We deliver signature coffee products like our Nitro Cold Brew and Caramel Frappe to any occasion or festivity. And for those who don't like coffee, we offer a variety of delicious hot chocolates, energy drinks, lemonades, and teas. That's Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck. To another edition of the Goblay Show. I'm your host, Billy, and today we got a special guest. He's I've known him for quite some time, 20 plus years, and he's a great athlete from South Sumter High, and he's also our head basketball coach there for the Varsity Raiders. And without further ado, I want to welcome A.J Bryant. Welcome to the show, A.J.
Welcome. I'm happy to be here, man, and just enjoying it. What better place to be than the Goblay Show? Having
said that about Coach Sherman, how did that help you with your coaching? I mean, how did that prepare you to not only on the sideline of football, but on the basketball court?
I'd say that was a direct reflection of everything that I do and the time and commitment I put in now.
Gotcha.
When I made the choice to stop coaching football, that was probably the hardest choice I've ever made because, I felt like football is the reason I got to the point I am in life. Mm-hmm. But going back to the beginning of the show, I told you basketball has always been my heart, my soul, and my passion.
Right.
And at the same time, I knew to ever be successful, I would have to put more time in it.
Right.
I couldn't be a football coach 80% of the time.
Right.
Wait till December, start practicing, spend half my summer at football, and not. Right. It came a point where I said, if you're going to want to be the coach that you want to be, if you're actually emulating Sherman and you want to put that dedication and that time in and have a successful program and be thought of from years to come as somebody that changed the program.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have to put the time and the effort in.
Well, you're going to have to, no matter what you do, in regardless if it's sports or whatever, if you're committed, like your family, your marriage, your job, you can't have all these distractions if you're trying to focus on one thing and trying to make the best situation out of whatever you're doing. And so I get that. I mean, and we understood that when we heard that you were going to leave us and the football program and you were going to go do basketball, and we knew you were going to do great things. I mean, that was never not something we thought of. But we loved having you on the sidelines. I mean, it was one of those things where, like, when we would go scouting and stuff like that, where you had all these stories and just, I mean, people don't realize the camaraderie of our coaches. And once you coach here, you're part of this family forever. I mean, it doesn't matter what you do after that.
Most people will never understand what makes us so successful. We have great kids, that is no doubt. Our kids are great. We put in work, but when you can be consistent across the board as your coaching staff,
right.
I mean, we have former players. We have guys that made a commitment to be a part of South Sumter no matter where they were from years ago, yeah. And they hadn't broke that commitment because of another job popping up.
Yeah.
They bought in, and they are Raider true and true.
Yeah.
So the time spent is not, I made jokes about how long we were in meetings and things like that, but we laughed. We joked. We were also able to be very serious with each other and give honest opinions to make ourselves better. And that's what it takes. I see some of these programs that are successful, but they only got a 1-year, 2-year stint because those coaches use the school as a stepping stone to get a better job.
That's right.
South Sumter coaches are going to be there for the most part, whether we go 0-10 or 10-0. Those coaches are going to put that same work in the next year. It's not going to be, I'm waiting on such and such job to open up.
Right.
We know our guys are going to be here for the duration.
And that speaks volumes of not just the caliber of coaching, but it also speaks levels of just everybody's true character. I mean, it's not. I mean, we've got guys that didn't go to school here and want to be here. You know what I mean? They believe in the program. An example of my brother, he's out in Oklahoma, and before he was in Colorado Springs, he was coaching there, and he's like, man, they just don't have the same. There's not the same vibe you get.
Family.
It literally is family. I mean, and it's and like you said, other coaches coming and going at other schools, or another opportunity comes up. And I understand people have. I mean, it's a choice, and sometimes your options outweigh your emotions, and it doesn't mean you're not loyal. I mean, there's other ways that, but I just think our coaching staff is amazing.
Always have been, and I think in going forward, I don't think athletic director, school, community would let it go any other way. I mean, we want a guy in here that's not only going to have our kids' best interests, but have integrity. You've never heard of our coaches out doing the wrong things. I mean, every one of them. I mean, I think for the most part, 80% of them coached me. I mean, that tells you the longevity that we have.
Well, look at Coach Hallman. Coach Keith Hallman just won the
Boyle Award.
The Boyle Award, yeah. I mean, well deserved. I mean, how many years of service he put in just
painting the field.
AJ, I couldn't paint the field one time.
He fired me after the first time.
For 30 years.
Nobody ever thought. I mean, he drove the bus, guys, for free for 20 plus years. The equipment bus. He leaves early. He gets there. I mean, he leaves early from practice to be at a JV game with the equipment. He's the first guy that leaves. He's the last guy to come back.
Yeah, he's like a firefighter. First one in, last one out. And
we'll never get another one like it.
No.
And I think that's kind of why they probably got the turf field.
I'm going to have to agree with you.
I don't think they'll find anybody 20 plus more years that we're going to paint the field when he's gone.
Not that committed. And I'm going to tell you, commitment goes a long way. I mean, it's hilarious. This year I caught myself doing it. I text Keith before we left, or before he would leave, and I say on an away game, we're like, all right, so what time's the bus leaving, the equipment bus? So I can kind of measure it when they get there and help out and stuff. And he goes, we're going to leave it, say 4:30. We're leaving 4:30. Well, 4:15 rolls around and Keith's gone. I'm like, dang it, Keith.
When the last piece of equipment gets on, that means he's ready.
We're ready to go. It's like a storm's coming. He's like, hey, we got to get out of here. But guys like that, man, I mean, it's hard not to love being around stuff like that. I mean, it's so positive. I mean, like you said, your former players, you got Earl, you got DW, you got Darian, you got your Highness.
Garrett Miller.
Garrett Miller's with us now. I mean, and he's like the young buck. He's the youngest guy.
I remember being that guy.
Yeah. And it's I bet it was quite intimidating.
To say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd say something and, you bring in what you feel is a wealth of knowledge because you just got done playing and you think that, you know it all. But then again, you're very humble because you'll say something and guys that coached you will go, that's a good idea. Or they'll go, nah, but it's all being heard and you feel important right out of college. And, these guys Sherman's been doing it since I was born.
Yeah.
And he's going, so what do you think, Bryant? You want my opinion? I was like, wow.
You looking around like, is somebody else in here?
You talking to me? And, he was always that coach. Like, he was going to value your opinion. Now, whether he did it or not was, different. Now that I'm older, he made you feel important.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to emulate some of that, whether it's on a small scale. Yeah. But
one thing I can tell you about, one thing I can always say about Coach Sherman is he always knew the kids.
Every one of them.
That's so important, especially now. It was important back in '84 when he started, but it's even more so now because I just feel like anymore these days. Kids need more love. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
he knew everything, man.
Yeah.
It'd be a case where we just use a kid in an example. We just say, little Johnny's missed his second day. Sherman go, don't worry about it. I've already talked. His dad's in the hospital. He'll be back on Monday.
Yeah.
Like he knew every single kid.
Yep.
He knew their situation. Yep. There were certain kids. He'd say, Coach Bryant, you might can, and that's when I knew he was okay delegating. He said, Coach Bryant, you might can reach that one a little bit better than I can. Can you have a conversation with him?
Right.
And like, you're trusting me with a kid that is important to the team. You want me? You think I can? So
but you never know.
No pressure.
Right. Yeah. Right.
No pressure.
Well, you know, and to gradually segue into coaching with you, we coached together, Wolfpack, and it was such a great experience because we know how this realm is and what to expect and what to do. And the newer guys that aren't from here, because there's quite a few of them that coach that aren't from this area, even in the state, and they love it. They look at it and they go, man, what is going on here? It's something that you can't explain. You just have to be there to witness it. But something I noticed when during like 8U, your son with Junior, you took the time to, a lot of, I mean, it happens so many times. Our own fathers did the same thing. You get caught up and you're like, and you forget that you're still a coach and you're trying to be dad. But they don't want you to be dad. They want you to be coach. And so I saw that transition. On the field, you were coach. But off the field, you could be daddy. So I don't know. It just, and I think all this, you start, like, I hope Garrett learns that too. I mean, I'm sure it will, but he's in the process, in the early stages of this process. You said earlier, trust the process, and I hear Keith Allen say it all the time. Like, he'll sign off with emails, just trust the process. Yes, and it's so true. I mean, what else can you? I mean, what else is there? What else is there?
If you have a process and you don't trust it, that means you're just going through the motion. And if you're going through the motion, you're wasting time. If you're wasting time, you're further behind.
Absolutely. What did you tell our kids? You do it right.
Do it right. Do it light. Do it wrong. Do it long. Yeah, you got one choice.
The kids love that, man. And it's so true. These little things like that are things that they're going to be 30 years old one day and go, hey, y'all remember that time Coach Bryant said, if we do it right, we'll do it light. And everybody's like, yeah. And then I'll come in with, y'all know how the cat ate the rock?
Speaking of that, like you're mentioning things like I'll never forget. Every time I see Albert English, I always ask about moon pies. Remember, we were in school. He would always tell us about got ice cream and moon pies in the portable.
Yeah,
and I'd always go in there looking for. There was never ice cream and moon pies, not one time. No, but he'll always be known for ice cream and moon pies.
He still does that. Like this year, he was telling some kid, he goes, "Hey, what kind of ice cream you like?" And the kid's like, "I don't know." And then he kind of like looked at him like, why is this guy asking me this? And then finally they go back to like, I guess vanilla. And he's like, well, after the game, he made sure he stressed after the game, not now. The kid would leave the field.
Leave the field for it.
He said after the game, we got ice cream.
He's still at it. It never fails. Ice cream and moon pies.
Dude, it's crazy. And the kids are like, okay.
He got me for years. I'm like, he might be telling the truth this time. He can't lie that many times.
Yeah. Well, I work with him, and he has to say, in all seriousness, when he says that, I know it's somewhat true.
Somewhat true.
He'll have a question. He'll be like, so did you deliver this part to so-and-so? And I'm like, I didn't even know anything about that. And I'm like, nope.
In all seriousness.
But yeah, in all seriousness, I'm like, oh, maybe I should have done that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know, but I'm like, oh, he's not kidding this time.
He's telling the truth.
Yeah, I've got to figure that out. Let's see, what was I going to ask you? So having said that, with the transition of 8U football, How was that like going from high school, going from your own self playing arena ball, going back to coach high school, and now you got your own son playing? And tell us a little bit about that. Like, what are some of the thought process behind 8U football or 10U football?
I went into it not knowing what to expect. I'd always had a dream of coaching my own kid, watching him run down the same sideline I've run down. And it all came full circle when we started with 6U. And that started out rough. We ended up with 13 kids to play 11-man football. We were supposed to play 8-man. We get a call saying, nope, y'all got to play 11.
Yeah.
We ended up losing like our first 2 games. And then we went and won 6 in a row.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad. And then we turn around and we get 8U, and I get fortunate enough. They said, hey, you get to call all the plays. And I was like, you want me to call them all? You sure? I was like, I'm not going to make a 8U type playbook. I mean, it's going to be pretty complicated. They're like, it's all you. And the rest is history. I mean, we had one of the most successful years Pop Warner ever had. Beat some really good teams. I think we ran into a wall when we played Coconut Grove, but take 2 plays away from, that game, and we win that one to go on to play for South Sumter's first state championship. But it was a transition, like you said, trying to be a dad as opposed to a coach. Yeah. I asked my son this year just to see how it was going. I said, hey, what if I didn't coach this year? Would you be okay? He said, I wouldn't play. Oh, wow. I said, why not? He said, because nobody else is tough on me. They're not going to push me. They just say, okay, you just do it better. Yeah. You good try. Get on me. Yeah. I was like, is that good or bad?
Well, I think it's a good thing to a certain point. And everybody has their limits. They all have
I know my kids.
Right. And again, know your kids, which I had to learn that myself. But once you do, and I mean, in my own defense, you'll have these kids come out of nowhere. I don't know some of these kids until, after a couple practices or whatever. I can barely get names down. That's why we put names on the helmets.
Yep, so you can learn.
So we figure out their names, but that's the process of knowing these kids, getting to know them, and then by that Coconut Grove game, dude, I was bawling like a baby.
It's hard when you invest that much time in little kids.
It is.
I mean, big kids, I think they're at the age where they can accept defeat. These kids don't know anything. They're learning. They're processing. I mean, some of them are sleepy. They're tired. Yeah. And it's too hot. But they're pushing through. I mean, you're making it as far as South Sumter's ever made it, and I still don't think they had a full scope of what they did. No. I think they came out this year in 10U again, and I think they proved to everybody that it wasn't a fluke. I mean, I think we ran into a wall at Dunellen, but that Dunellen team went on to play on the national level, and I think they might have won it all.
They did win it. So the last 2 years, we were put up by the champion. The eventual champion. Okay. So we are heading in the right direction, just like
the high school,
our high school program. Whether your water is supplied by a public municipality or a private well, for residential or commercial use, Purified Water Services LLC has the solutions to provide you with simply clean water. We offer a complete line of professional water filtration equipment and accessories. Soft water makes a difference you can see and feel. Water heater and appliances last longer with less maintenance. Iron and H2S filters eliminate iron stains and offensive rotten egg odors and protects your water softener equipment from iron fouling. No matter what your problem is, Purified Water Services LLC has a solution. Contact Kenny Williams at 352-446-2709. So the same process that we went over in high school, it just we're getting better every year. And then we went to, we go from over to we went undefeated the last
Couple of years.
Yeah, at least 3 years, I want to say. So we're doing the right thing. We're putting our foot in the right direction, and it's like everything else. It's not an overnight process. It takes a long time. But I think, having said that, if that's something that reflects the future, I think we're going to be just fine.
We're heading in the right direction as a whole community. I mean, I feel like our kids are buying in. They've seen its success on every level.
Right.
Our middle school team ain't lost a game in God knows how long. So those kids see success. They want to be successful on the next level.
Right.
They see these offers these kids are getting, you know, and they want it, and they're going to strive to be great just because that's what they want to do.
Absolutely.
So, and that starts at the younger level.
You know, there's a saying that hitting breeds hitting. Well, winning breeds winning as well. So if you keep doing that same thing over and over, you know, if you go and look at our practices and our pregame and everything, we do the same thing. But it just, you know, these kids, a lot of people don't realize, even with the smaller kids, you can't make it too complex. I know you said you like to, you know, you call some place, but the kids knew what they were doing.
Oh, they knew.
But you weren't running trick plays every left and right.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
It just wasn't so basic that you'd be like, this is typical Pop Warner football.
Absolutely.
I mean, we moved the ball around, but the kids bought in.
Right. And that's what you got to do. So I think that experience was great for me as well. It made me feel like, I don't know, the first time our first year, we didn't do so well. The first year of AU, Jace played center, and he's like the size of a twig, you know. But he did well because it was something that he wanted to do, and I thought he did a great job maturing into a player. And he's just, you know, like anybody at that age, they're just undersized, and you get one of those. Well, other teams had bigger kids sometimes. Denellen had a bunch of kids that were like, what did you feed these kids? Like Hernando had one. There was this one kid, oh my gosh, he looked like a seventh grader out there. We're like, what is this legal? Check his birth certificate. But he was legit. I mean, and they all play great, but it's just, those guys are just so far in between, and we're blessed to have what we have. But I think we did a great job. I didn't think, who knew? I had no idea with that expectation of that first year or the second year of AU, the one you were with, that we would even make it to the playoffs. I had no idea. I'm just like, okay, whatever. We're here for the ride. And then we go down to Jupiter.
Oh, that was...
And they're giving us all these crazy, like, okay, your mouthpiece has to be like, what is it? Tethered in. And we're like, what? Like, we
had cheerleader string.
Yeah.
We're tying it on. Tie it
on, make sure that these things don't.
We ended up facing so much adversity to that game.
We had 5 fumbles.
5 fumbles. We had 2 possessions where we were 4th and 30 plus. Yeah. So many missed snaps. We were down 2 touchdowns. Yeah. And we found a way.
Came out at the half and
made
started
some
rolling.
adjustments.
Yeah, and that's, a lot of people don't realize, like, you watch a professional or college team, college game, and say Florida State's down by 14 and a half. Mm-hmm. Okay, they go into halftime. They're not in there getting yelled at. They're in there making adjustments.
Everybody thinks it's a tune-up speech. Ain't no tune-up.
They had the infamous, like, Luke Rodney, like, all right, gentlemen, we're gonna go back out there. We're gonna fight. It's not. That's nowhere clear, like, close to that. It was just, if you were to go into a locker room, you'd see position coaches with their position players, and they go, look, hey, this is what we did. This is what we did wrong. Let's fix it. And then they come back out, and everybody's like, oh, wow, that was a big difference.
Yes,
I'm like, it wasn't a speech.
No, not at all.
But it's funny how, like, people don't realize that. Like, they're like, Oh, when they get in that locker room,
the coach is going to give it to them.
Coach is going to get them. It's going to get them. And I'm like,
that's really going to make them play harder.
Yeah, that's gonna motivate them. Is getting yelled at.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I can imagine. There's adults that shut down.
So
you know what I mean?
Being 8-10 years old.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You come in there, you guys are so needy.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Coach, they're 8 years old. They're 8 years old.
I forgot.
You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, speaking of that was the biggest adjustment. Is you're used to high schoolers where you can point out their flaws, and these younger kids. I mean, you can kind of tell them what they're doing wrong, but you more so give them ways that they can fix it.
Right.
Because I mean, obviously they're not doing it wrong on purpose.
Right. Exactly.
So.
So now you're the head basketball coach. Tell us a little bit about your team this year, because I want everybody to know. First of all, I'll put the camera on me. First of all, I want everyone to know how awesome these basketball games are. I'm telling you. Now, AJ, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a big basketball fan. Okay, I love football. Football is my baby. I love it, but it's crazy. It is like a circus every game, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It is so cool how you do things for our players and our fans, family, moms and dads come out. It is like being at a rock show / basketball game / I don't know. We have the best snack bar
We have
in the land.
tried to put it all together to where we have a home experience to where you feel at home.
Yeah.
That's where our community comes to hang out, eat, and enjoy watching the kids that they've seen grow up, that were the neighborhood run around kids that are running. Now they're out here on the court, playing organized ball and doing pretty good.
Yeah. Your record, what's your record? I didn't really get
currently we are 6-0 right now.
6-0. And this airs Friday. So you have a game
Thursday and Friday.
Okay, Thursday and Friday. So you have who are you playing? We'll just say, who are you playing tonight?
We don't have one. Oh, on Friday?
Yeah, on Friday.
Friday, this will be Leesburg.
Oh, you're playing Leesburg at home?
That's a big. Our first 10 games are home.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, you sent me the schedule, and I'm like, oh my God. You said we have a game every week or every day, and I'm like, I didn't realize you were talking about the girls too. I'm like, oh my gosh, how is that possible? These kids are playing 5 days a week.
No, because we push our season back so far because of football.
Yeah,
I don't play any games hardly in November. I wait till, if we're going to miss a kid, it's going to be because they're playing in a state championship.
Gotcha.
If they're not playing in a state championship, they're normally going to play the first game of the year, which is normally December, somewhere in there.
Gotcha. So going back to the circus, I'll say, I've got some clips of you doing the introductions. I'm talking about, dude, I put the Chicago Bulls starting lineup music over, and it was almost like as if that was playing in the background because it was perfect for it.
We try and emulate a lot of things that a college would do. I have to remind people, everything that you see going on is what I went to school to do.
Right.
That's the sports management part of it. High school basketball is a little bit more than just putting a product on the court. I mean, if you can put people in the stands and put a product on the court, you'll have a packed gym about every night. I mean, every aspect of it, we want the kids to have the experience. We want them to have media coverage. We want them to have an intro that no one else is doing. We want them to have a theme every single night. Right. If it's country night, elementary night, it's breast cancer awareness. No matter what the night is, there's something going on at South Sumter's gym. So if you're not there, where are you? Yeah.
I was going to ask you, do you come up with these ideas yourself, like the themes, or?
I can't say I take credit for them. I take credit for putting them where they should be, but I don't think anybody can take credit for breast cancer awareness.
Well, yeah, those are the ones that you can't. Yeah.
But like elementary night, how often do we invite families out? in our community. What else is there to do for a whole family on a Friday night?
And Monday night you had first responders
and military.
Cool. I thought that was cool.
Just invite their families, everybody. They get in free.
Yeah.
We will actually have a couple of those for just to have,
so they don't miss it.
They don't miss it, and I have opportunities to, I have more time on my hand than most people think, just because you're riding on a bus, and I listen to different things because I'm the bus driver. So sometimes I need to mentally debrief.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to something that will, give me the stats and the awareness of, our military vets or something that's going on. And I'm like, they need a break.
Yeah.
What's $20, $30 of letting their whole family in for and honoring them?
Yeah.
That ain't going to break my program, but that might mean the world to them.
Absolutely. And you've even gone as far as a half court shot for $100.
Yes, we'd like to thank Connie Mahan. She was being a gracious partner in that.
Yeah.
Everybody wants an opportunity to not only shine, but also win $100.
Yeah.
So we've graciously partnered with her, and we offer that at every game to see if your shot is worth $100.
If you're on the spot, Johnny on the spot or not.
Yeah.
So it's what, $5?
It's $5 to enter it, and it's your chance to win $100.
Wow. Okay. Well, that is that's something that was I've never seen anyone do before, and I thought it was really cool when I heard about that. Of course, Jeremy Bryant was mad at me the other night because I missed it, but he took like 8 shots. I'm like, dude,
it didn't count.
Oh, it didn't count.
No,
okay.
No, he took a practice one afterwards. It didn't count.
Okay, well then I don't feel so bad.
Yeah, you didn't miss much.
Okay, well, hey, listen, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to promote as many kids as I can. You know what I mean? Because I love sending kids a highlight, or now it's getting some used to with being basketball, because I'm not used to that. I'm used to start and stop, and then hey, if anything good happens, you use it.
Yeah.
Not hey, something can happen 45 seconds later after you've stopped. So,
and you missed it.
And I missed it. But so far, I've had pretty good luck. I don't want to, knock on wood. But I don't want to jinx myself. But I think I've done a pretty good job so far.
You have done a great job. We are happy at the basketball program anytime we see the Goblay show or Mr. Billy Goble show up, because you've always covered our kids, no matter if it's football, basketball. You have done a great job of putting them in the limelight to where they can be successful and doing what everybody else is doing as far as putting these kids out front.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I try my best. And I'm glad I have the opportunity to do that, because not a lot of people can do that. As far as opportunity wise, we have a lot of guys that help make that happen, and right now, like our sponsors, I can't thank our sponsors enough for this show. They do such a great job. They obviously, I go to them. I mean, I haven't had anybody really ask me yet.
You'll be there soon.
I hope, but I've asked them, and I personally handpick like if I know, like, it's people that I would go to, or I've been to, or I know them very well, and I just it's a partnership. I just want the best for our community, our kids, and I can't stress that enough, man. People probably get tired of looking at all these videos and stuff online, but I love it.
You have to have a passion for it to do it,
yeah.
And you definitely have that. So we are happy to have you in the community and part of our sports realm.
Catfish Johnny's Restaurant, serving the Lake Pennsauken and surrounding areas since 1990. For the last 33 years, we have strived to serve great food at great prices and a friendly, casual atmosphere. If seafood isn't your thing, our burgers or wings are the best around. We have daily specials too. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram for more information. Pat's Taps at Catfish Johnny's. Pat's Taps is Lake Pennsauken's newest tap room, offering 14 rotating craft beers on tap. We also offer bottled domestic beers, seltzers, ciders, and wine, as well as a variety of appetizers and puffs. Our family-friendly tap room is a great place to come hang out and enjoy some one-of-a-kind craft beer. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or the Untapped app. Well, I appreciate that, and I love, like I said, I love the guys. I don't want to say kids because they're almost grown men, but I just found out the other night that Casey Parsons. I didn't even know who his dad was, Clifford Parsons. I'm like,
your classmate.
I know. When I heard that, I was like I got, it was like I had like an old friend. I haven't seen him in so long. Got to see him after the game, and oh my gosh, he was just gleaming. And like you saw him, I showed him that dunk occasion, and oh my gosh, yeah, he was like, I didn't get to see that angle, but I'm like, yeah, that's what I love doing, man. I love making a kid or a player highlight for them. Listen, if it can get them noticed, I'm all for it, man.
Your view, I think that next morning had already been seen 5,000 times.
Oh,
it's up to 15. That was 2 days ago.
Oh, really?
15,000 views.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
so you went viral.
I'm heading in the right direction.
Now you just got to get a little watermark.
Yeah, the thing is, like with the football ones, I've noticed the reels on Facebook, that helps so much because, you know, when you and I were in school,
you got a VHS, baby.
Can you imagine what I could have done with a phone?
Yes,
man.
What's a phone? You had to use a beeper.
I didn't even have a beeper, bro. I had no lie, my mom and dad had remember the Zach Morris phone? Mm-hmm. That's a brick phone. This is a half brick phone, so it's a little bit smaller. And I've talked about that with Wes Gill. It's like you're in Vietnam, you know, you're calling Delta Strike.
Yeah.
But you talk about going from that to a smartphone. You're like, dude, it's like
you can do 90% of everything you want in the world with a phone.
Have you ever seen the picture of when they set everything that's a phone on a table? It's like a table full of stuff.
Yes, calendar,
calendar, a recorder.
Well, with the AI technology now, it's a person. You can sit there and have a conversation with it.
Dude, AI scares me.
It scares me.
It is scary, dude. That is scary.
It can do math problems very well.
Yes.
In my class.
Yes. Now where was that when I needed it in high school?
I was fortunate enough to be very good in math. I needed it for writing my papers.
You know what's funny is when we did I would do Player of the Week for football. I'd always ask the players, I'm like, so what's your favorite subject? And then AJ, like 80% math. I'm like, what? What boy likes math? I hated math.
I actually liked it.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're good at it. I mean, it helps to be good at it.
I was about to say,
yeah, you got to be good at something to like it. You know what I mean? Because it does help. I mean, there are other things that you can be good at, and you're like,
not really.
I don't. God-given talent.
Baseball. Yep. That's one of them for me. Yeah. I was decent at it, but I wasn't great at it.
You didn't like it as much?
I didn't like to swing the bat. I just wanted to pitch.
I just wanted to field too. I just wanted to be out.
It was too long. I was just standing out there counting.
No, I liked all that. I didn't want to get up and bat.
I didn't want to bat either.
Yeah.
By the time they start throwing curveballs,
yes,
I was like, I'm out.
Alan Sure's throwing at my head. I'm like, come on, dude.
I throw at my head and I dive down and they go strike.
Yeah.
It's like, no, when you fell, it curved back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm done.
Big Jake Worthen.
Mm-hmm.
Jake would have his. God, I'll never forget this. You look at him, and of course he's on the mound already. So he's already a foot taller than you already.
And then he's on the mound.
So he's
like a monster.
He's elevated.
Space Jam.
And he's got his hat down over his face like this, over his eyes.
Like he can't see.
And so it's blocked. And he's like, and he's getting ready to. And I'm like, and you're just sitting there like, oh God,
he can't see me. He's gonna hit me.
Yeah, if you can. I'm like, I'm gonna die. And I would
Today is the day.
And I would just stand there with my bat shaking. I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is.
9th grade, I let it go.
Oh really?
Yeah, I went back to track. So I don't have to think out here.
Well, see, we didn't even talk about track. What was your thing in track?
400.
The 400?
Yeah, I was slow. Remember, I can run. I can run one lap fast.
According to Coach Sherman,
yes.
You know, AJ's not fast.
Never been caught in a game.
I have him on video. Got him on video saying that.
But I've never been caught in a game.
This is slowest. I know we give you a hard time about it, but it's such a great moment.
It was
the slowest screen ever done.
And I like to look at that kid could beat me, that kid could beat me, and that kid could beat me in the 100, but they couldn't beat me that day.
AJ, who was the guy that he got shot and was there at the game? He played for Wildwood.
Bum?
Yeah.
That is our quarterback's dad.
That's right. Because they interviewed him. VNN, before the Villages had a team. VNN covered the game, and I got it on tape. I had to, like,
he was a Corbin.
Yes, that's right. And I'm like, they said he had a gunshot wound. I'm like, but the next week he was back. That's crazy, dude.
Yep,
that's a tough guy right there.
He was a heck of an athlete. Hence, we were lucky to have two of his kids play for us.
Yes.
Jawarn.
Okay.
And Finkley.
Yes. Ian, that's right. Mm-hmm. That's right. You know what? Now that you say that, somebody told me that. I forgot. But I had no idea that was the same guy. I remember them saying his last name, Corbin. I was like, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, man, people talk about how if we were to take all the athletes and just
I already know where that's going.
Put them together,
what we would have had.
Could we be stopped?
I always thought about that, but then who coaches?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Where do you play?
True.
Do the dynamics of the school blend? I mean, could we make it work? It was just so many variables. But like Matt Ellis said, he said, look at that, our senior year in 99-2000. Look at Wildwood's kids that if we would have took 10 of those kids off that, just 10. We didn't even need the whole team, just 10.
Yeah.
We'd win state.
Well, not only that, they all went to college. You know what I mean? Like, 4 or 5 of them went to South Florida? And then you had, we had 4 or 5. They weren't the same year, but you had,
within the next year, because Nathan went.
Right. Clinton Crosby. Sam, Ben went. And that's
4 of ours.
4-year period. And, I mean, just, dude, the talent. But you said earlier about the water.
Something special.
We've always said you need to bottle that water.
It's something special.
Sell it at the market.
Something in it, man. I remember just pumping it out of a big old pump. Just a well and just a pump. They had green stuff in it. I don't know if that helped us or not, but...
Man, can you imagine if it made you faster? I
don't know. Well, it didn't. I don't think I drank the same.
Slowed you down.
I was going to say, I don't think I drank the part that made you faster.
Yeah. That's funny. Oh, my gosh, dude. So, back to your basketball game. We're all over the place. That's okay. Back to basketball. Any teams you're looking forward to play? Past this week, you got any big games coming up that we can try to make it out to?
I think we have a 5-year skid versus Wildwood, so we definitely want to have an opportunity to get back. Of course, it's always big when we play the Villages.
Yeah.
This is the first time that I can think of that South Sumter has been the top in the area. I think our kids are coming out with a different mindset. Right now, we are the number 3 team in Class 4A. We're the number 17th team in the state of Florida, which is unheard of and unprecedented in South Sumter basketball history.
Right.
But it's a testament to the kids and the work they've put in to get where they want to be.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Webster Ace Hardware and Farm Supply are generous sponsors for today's podcast. They have been a family-owned business for 27 years. This helpful hardware store sells items such as archery, Ariat clothing and boots, Wrangler jeans, case knives, Hammond's candies, and live fishing gear. They also have a full selection of hardware, RV supply, propane, Ben Moore, Royal & Clark, and Kingston paints. You need a barn or fencing job done? Custom barn kits and roofing metal are provided at your local Ace Hardware store. What about a new grill for the yard? Traeger, Big Green Egg, Weber, and Blackstone are found here. along with all the accessories to go with it. Stock up your workshop with DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Craftsman tools. They got you covered. Remember to go to ace.com to shop their entire line to have items shipped directly to the store. You know, like you said, Wildwood's always been a powerhouse, and the Villages too. So, I mean, to shake up the bag a little bit is always good. I mean, I'm actually going to try to make the one against the Villages.
It's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, like I said, that the whole student body that's there, the kids show up to root on. I mean, it always helps when you got people to show up to the game. But not only that, I mean, it's an experience. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I don't want to seem like it's like cliche or anything, but it really is an experience. And they're talking about the snack bar. I'm like, I walk in there and they got empanadas and
chicken wings and
you
name it, it's like, in there.
Like, you don't have just like nachos?
We can accommodate all people.
You can do everything. That's awesome, man.
I always say our game experience is like Buc-ee's. Everybody talks about it until you actually go to one. You're like, what is all the hoopla about? And then you go in and you go, I kind of overdid it a little bit in here, but I get it now. I get it. So that's the kind of experience we're going for at our home games. We want you to go in and be like, what in the, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like something you want to come back to.
Yeah. You know, our gymnasium, our gym's awesome now.
It is.
Wood floor. I really didn't, when I heard we were going to put the wood floor down, I was like, man, looking at it from a maintenance side, it's a pain to maintain and stuff. You got to baby it. You can't, you know, I'm looking at it from that perspective. You can't drive on it, you know, like with the lift or something. So, but it looks beautiful. The gym looks amazing.
I love it.
Yeah. I just, you know, when the other night when I was there, I was like, man, just looking around, and even on video pictures, same way with our football field. It just looks amazing.
We're heading in the right direction.
Yes, we are. But just when you watch film of our football, you're like, that don't even look like are we home? Yeah. Are we playing at like Lakeland Christian or?
Backdrop is always beautiful. The sunset. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah. Friday night lights.
Yes. Speaking of Friday night lights, you do Friday Night Done Right.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Friday Night Done Right is a drug-free coalition through E3. Roseanne Grady does a good job of heading and helping us. She partners with our high school. When we grew up, that's all we had was not the Boys and Girls Club, the skating rink. Our parents dropped us off, and you were locked in, and they came and picked you up. And that was about the only thing we ever had to do. When Jimmy's stopped, I mean, I think that's when our youth found other avenues, and they weren't always good.
Dark avenues.
So I think we've kind of tried to take this to a different level and give the kids an avenue where the parents know where they are at least until 11:30. Promote, give them some statistics. You know, back in our days, you had to smoke 10 cigarettes. That took all day, and you're just sitting around puffing on. Now these kids can grab that in 5 or 6 puffs out of a vape, and they don't understand the damage they're doing, the dangers of it. So we're just trying to create awareness, but at the same time look out for our youth and give them something to do.
Right. Well, I always hear about it. Of course, it's after a football game and it's too late. That's kind of like what they call it, the fifth quarter?
Yep. So we do them after basketball games also.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
We have the one this Friday, actually.
Okay. So, tonight. You want to say tonight? Yeah, tonight. We're living in the future right now.
Yes.
And was that something that you came up with, or?
I think Miss Grady started the actual coalition, but needed an avenue to be able to reach the kids. And since she's not in school, they were able to partner with me, and we do a great job of working together to reach not only our high schoolers, but our middle schoolers, not only the south end, but the north end.
Gotcha. Going back to basketball, I had a question. I heard this from it was a reel that this I think it was a kid had asked the coach, and he said that when you're teaching, like when you're coaching basketball and you're coaching defense, is it about attitude or is it about discipline?
I'd say 80% of both.
Okay.
If you don't have the right attitude, I mean, you could be all about the hustle, but if you're going the wrong way,
right,
and you know, it'd be the equivalent of me and you doing something together. If I do 100% of my part and you do 80% of yours, we're still missing 20.
Right.
But if I can somehow figure out what you're going to do and do 120 to match your 80, then we're doing pretty good. So that's the discipline part. You got to understand your job, be able to cover for your partner. So hustle, discipline, they all go hand in, and our kids are buying in.
Yeah.
These are the same kids that you see on Friday nights that are giving their all. Now they're doing it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Gotcha. What kind of defense do you run?
We are a 1-2-2 trap team.
Okay.
Anybody that plays South Sumter knows that wherever the ball's going, there's two of them following it.
Gotcha.
That's not a mystery.
Do you like the press a lot? Like
we press that 1-2-2 full. Yeah. That's our press.
I'm sorry if I don't seem like savvy with basketball. So
that's all right.
If I asked what you just said, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
But I wasn't sure if that was actually like a press or if it was like a full. Okay, because I've seen full court press, but
ours is more of a 3/4. We'll let you bring it in. We'll wait on you at your 3-point line.
Gotcha. So you're challenging them to come on down.
Yeah, we'll put 2 on your 1. If you can find the open player, good for you. If not, we're gonna take it from you.
So basically, you're just trying to. It's almost you're not trying to get the big breaks like you want.
We are geared towards making and dictating what you do. You're not going to run an offense. You're not going to do all the picks and the stuff you draw up on the board.
Right.
Your job's to get rid of the ball before we get there. That's what we're going to force you to do. And we know where you're going to go with it because we're going to block off 80% of your avenues.
What would you say, like, if you when you drop, everybody sees the coach, all right, and they got the grease board and they're doing this. Now, comparing football to basketball, is it easier to come up with a play? Or is it like, with the football play, you can just call. I know you have plays that you call as well, but is it easier to do that in transition or what?
Basketball is more of an on the fly, so you should have an arsenal of, your 10 to 12 base plays.
Right.
But at some point, you don't have a play designed for every particular, because in football, you know where the ball is going to be placed.
Right.
In basketball, it could be placed here, or there.
Gotcha.
So that changes the dynamics. It could be 2 seconds or it could be 12 seconds.
True.
So it changes, and the kids have to know and understand, and you've went over this enough to where they know the situation, and not only knowing it, but they understand on the fly, this is you, this is what we're going to do.
Right.
And my kids have bought in.
And is that something that every practice, is that something that you practice itself?
You want to every practice should look like a game. You want to finish on some kind of drill that puts you in a situation that you're going to probably see in a game.
Gotcha.
You use different games, or you might be up 15 points in a game.
Right.
Some people want to continue to score.
Right.
I want to work on a stall play because I know I'm going to need a stall. The other team wants the ball back, so they're hungry to get it.
Right.
That's a great time to work on a stall.
And they're going to end up fouling you, which creates more potentially more points.
Yeah. I've been down 20 points, and we start fouling. There's no chance in the world we're going to win the game.
Yeah.
But you have to teach kids to foul, because if they don't know how, then it's called an intentional foul.
Yeah, exactly.
So you work on those things. These are things that are not always wrote up on a grease board. It's just for them to see it on the board.
Having said that, if you if you've got, I didn't realize that, in football you got 30 seconds. You're like, oh, this game's pretty much over with. But in basketball, 30 seconds is an eternity.
Lifetime.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
That's at least 10 possessions if you're fouling.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, and I've seen that in the pros and college tournaments, whatever. They're like, oh, there's 10 seconds left. They're going to win it. Not so fast. Yep. You got all the time in the world, it's bizarre because you're not used to that.
Yep.
That's something that you're not accustomed to, and that's all you watch is football or, It blows my mind.
When you've been doing it, I think this is year 11 for me, so I'm over 200 plus games. So we've seen it all.
I was gonna say, you know, you have a lot in common with. I've mentioned this on previous podcasts. Alan Shirley, when I coached with him, like in a baseball game, you know the rules, you know everything that applies to all this, and you're the kind of person that if you interject or you start just, and I noticed that in the 8U last year, you go over and I'm like, man, what is he doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but you knew what you were doing, and that you don't know how much. I mean, you just think that this is what I'm doing, but you don't realize that other people are like, all right, I'm glad that guy's on our side. You know what I mean? Just like with Alan, he knows the rule book.
You have to know what you're going into, because remember, these referees are human.
Yeah.
And you know, you're going to get some calls that are not reversible. There's some that are reversible, and if you know your rule, you're better equipped. Not every ref's going to take very kindly to you interjecting, but at the same time, in the back of their mind, they're human, and they're going to go, he knows what he's talking about.
Right.
You're right.
Well, you know, like with Coach Lawrence, I didn't know his dad was a referee, and he also coached as well. But like he was saying something about on Twitter, you know, he's always nice to the refs, and people don't think of that as a good thing. But you know, you look at the sidelines, and if guys know who you are, just like I didn't tell you this the other night when Parsons dunked. After that, I'm kind of in the corner of the over on the side, and the referee comes over and goes, "Did you get the dunk?"
Yeah, he likes
I thought he was going to tell me to get off the court, or get away from the court. But he was like, "Did you get the dunk?" And I was like, "Yes, sir." And he goes, like, "That was pretty awesome." But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, you forget they're human too, and they're watching the game, and they're just as in awe, like, "Oh wow." You know, that just happened. And so, I mean, that speaks volumes for people that know what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. I thought it was a pretty cool quality to have, where, you know, you go out and even if something bad happens, like something that's against your team, you go out there and you go, "Hey, can we just talk about it?" You don't want to be that guy that they're like, "Nope, there's nothing to talk about."
And most refs will talk to me because I'm firm. At the same time, I'm very respectful. Like, I'm going to let you know, "Hey, sir, I just don't think that's the right call. Can I time out? I just want to talk to the right hat."
Right.
You know.
All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for. Join us next time. You can catch full episodes on YouTube and Spotify. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. Until next time, we'll catch you later. Take care. Bye.